Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a little zipper pouch. And all you need is scrap fabric. You don't need to run out and buy a lot of stuff. And you can use a heavy fabric or quilting fabric if you like. Now, all of these little pouches you see here was a learning process for me. I had never made one with a serger before, and I really wanted to learn how to do it. So I'm going to show you not only how to make it on your standard sewing machine, but I'm going to show you how to make it on a serger and the differences and things you need to be careful of between the two machines. Here was the first one I attempted to make. And it went pretty well, except this edge up here, I only made it about 1 inch wide. And when I went to pull the corners out up here in the top, they didn't come out very well. I was also using heavier fabric, but the zipper was okay. So on the second one I made this a little bit wider up here. So I made it about 1.5 inches, and it was much easier to pull the corners out in the front. I used my serger to make this one and my sewing machine to make this one. But when I used the serger to make this one, it's harder to see where your needles are going. And so when I got it all done and I went to open it up, it got stuck right there. I can't open it anymore because I stitched way too close to the zipper teeth. On the regular sewing machine, it's real easy to see where your needle is going, but on the serger, it is not. So I'll show you what I did to help keep myself from getting the needles too close to the zipper. This one was also made on my serger. It looks fine, but while it was being stitched, the zipper teeth were pulling apart from each other on each side of the zipper while using the serger. So I'll show you what I did to help prevent that from happening. This one, I used quilting fabric to make it. So I'm going to show you how to make it using quilting fabric on the sewing machine and the serger. The quilting fabric was a little easier to work with because it wasn't so thick, and the corners were a lot easier to get out. So you can cut your fabric any size you want. All right, so this is an 8-inch piece of fabric going this way. So this is the width of the bag. I would recommend on your length at least double whatever your width is. So when I fold this in half, you can see how long the bag will be. So you can make it a little longer if you like, or a little wider. Really, it's up to you how much you want to do it. So on the sewing machine, and oh, by the way, I've also got just some plain fabric for the lining. You can put anything in the lining. You can use the same fabric on the lining. Now, when you're selecting a zipper, make sure your zipper is wider than your fabric. This is really, really important. So make it wider. So when I'm going to stitch this on one end, I'm going to turn my zipper front side down. And you want to make sure that the zipper pull is way out here, and then the other metal piece that's down here at the end of the zipper is extending out past this edge. And I also recommend that you place a few pins, especially if you're not used to sewing. You may want to place some pins along the edge. You could pin it like this. So now I'm going to show you what stitch to use so that your edges are bound just like the serger. So when you stitch on it, your edges are being bound as well as stitching that seam length. On your sewing machine, whether you have a computerized sewing machine or you have a relatively new mechanical sewing machine, you probably have at least one or more overcast stitches. And this is the overcast stitch that I have selected. So it stitches down your seam area, but then it goes over to the edge of your fabric so that it prevents your fabric from unraveling. So on your computer screen, once you select one, so look in your user's manual to see which one of yours have overcast stitches. These are some of mine. I have many on mine. Up here it tells me what presser foot to use. So make sure you understand what your presser foot needs to be. Now on my machine, I have a line right here, and it is indicating the center where the needle is going down. I want to stay 1/8 of an inch past it to my right. So it's in between my center line and my 1/4 inch line. So I'm going to line it up there. Let me get my thread out of the way and place it right there like that. And then I'm going to lower my presser foot. I have my stitch width set to 5.0 and my stitch length to 4.0. So always test your stitch out before you begin stitching this zipper on. So now I'm going to go ahead, I've got it lined up between that center line and the 1/4 inch line, and I'm going to begin stitching. And so it's going to go out to the edge and then come back in and go down. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way, and I'm going to stitch all the way down to the end. So this is what it looks like when it's done, and then here is the underside. Now you can either go to your ironing board and press this flat right in here, or give it a really good finger pressing. And then you're going to come along and stitch from this seam right here, go down about 1/8 of an inch and stitch right along here all the way across. And here's what it looks like when it's all done. Fold it in half, and now line up your edges along this side and place the edge of your zipper right up here at the top edge. And go ahead and place pins to hold it in place, and then do your overcast stitch on this side. Now reach inside and turn it front side out. And go ahead and finger press along this edge and then stitch a little ways from it all the way across. To make it easier to stitch, unzip your zipper all the way so that it's easy to stitch along here. This next step is very important. You don't want to mess this one up. Pull your zipper closed only about halfway. If you should close it all the way and you go ahead and stitch along the sides and cut the ends of the zipper off, you've wasted your whole time. Your bag will never open. So halfway only. Then turn it to where the back side is showing. Line up your edges along here, and now between your zipper teeth and the top edge, you want about 1.5 inches. And then you're going to make sure that these two sides of your zipper are close to each other. And then you're going to go along here and cut the end of the zipper off. And then you're going to go over to this side and trim it off even with your side edge. Then after you've done that, I would place a couple of pins right along here to hold the two sides of the zipper in place. Because remember that example I showed you where the zipper teeth moved away from each other? That can happen either on the sewing machine or the serger, but it happens a lot easier on the serger. Then you're going to go ahead and place your raw edge and do that same overcast stitch on this raw edge. So line it up on those lines on your sewing machine and stitch on this side and this side. Now reach inside this opening and turn it front side out. Then reach inside and make sure you poke out all your corners and then close it up, and there you go. Now I'm going to show you a few tips about how to use your serger doing this same project. I'm using a standard overlock stitch. One of the things that I found that was really helpful for me was to use my piping cording presser foot. When I used the regular presser foot, I just kept having all kinds of problems. Also, when you're putting this zipper on, see how long my zipper is? It's really long. It goes out at least 4 inches, at least the zipper pull goes out at least 4 inches past the edge of my fabric. So again, you're going to place the front side of your zipper down and line it up on the edge. Place it under your presser foot. And this is real important. Don't let the serger cut any of this off. So you're going to keep the edge of your zipper in about 1/8 of an inch and start way back there so that you can get it all started and begin stitching. Now again, make sure you're not cutting any of this zipper off, because what happens is you'll get too close to your zipper teeth. And just continue all the way to the end. Then go ahead and either finger press or use your iron to press this. Then stitch along this edge here 1/8 of an inch or a little less from the seam. Now take the other edge of your zipper and bring it on the other raw edge. And then use your serger to go all along here. Turn it front side out and then unzip your zipper and then finger press this and stitch along here. Now you're going to close the zipper, but only halfway. Remember, you don't want to close it all the way. And then turn it to where it's back side out. Now make sure you have 1.5 inches between this edge and your zipper teeth. And I've placed some pins here to hold the two sides of the zipper together. Don't place your pins way out here because you don't want them to get caught on that blade cutter. It's really important. So now you're just going to insert it into your machine and go ahead, and now you can let it cut a little bit off of the edge. And keep your edges lined up, let her go. Now as you get towards the zipper teeth, you're going to let your cutter cut the end of the zipper off. But move a little slow. You want to try real hard to keep this side of the zipper from shifting. Lift up that, lay that down. You want to make sure everything stays flat. And go all the way to the end. And then after you're done, go ahead and do the other side. Altogether, I made 3 different bags, all different sizes. And these 2 were made with the serger, and this one was made with the sewing machine. There are issues no matter which method you choose, and so you just got to try it out and see which one you like the best. For me, I felt like the one with the sewing machine was a little bit easier. Also, the one with the serger, you had to use a really long zipper, and that could be more expensive. So try it out on both machines and see which method you like best, and then let me know below in the comments section, which method you like the best. Now, if you're interested in other beginner sewing projects and beginner serger projects, check below your YouTube screen for those video links. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.